Welcome to The Vault at 201 North Broadway, podcast for innovators and problem solvers talking all things small business, entrepreneurship, and workforce development.
Originally from California, this guest made his way west for college. A little time at MSU, but made the switch to our Rocky Mountain College here in Billings.
Go Bears!
He is an advocate for the Billings cultural scene and is doing the work to make our community's theater experience even more unique and special. The guy changing the letters on the marquee, he's real, he's cool, Jake MacKenzie.
Visit Billings is a proud supporter of today's podcast and Big Sky Economic Development. More than 2.6 million people visit Billings annually, spending $621 million. We are committed to supporting the business community by working to provide tourism services, sales, and marketing support at Montana's Trailhead. Travel to visitbillings.com for more details. We hope you enjoy this episode of The Vault at 201 North Broadway.
Hi, Jake.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Oh gosh, you're already making me laugh. That's great. We're so excited to have you on the podcast. You're doing really great things. You're our neighbor right here in downtown Billings.
Our biggest fan.
Yep.
Top fan status.
I listen when I walk my dog.
What kind of dog?
We have a golden doodle. Her name is Andy. Yep.
Aww.
Yep. And
what were you guys for Halloween?
We were the Flintstones, and so our little one was Pebbles, and I was Fred, and Timber was Wilma, and the dog was Dino.
Oh, I love that. I can't wait to see photos. You have to send those to us.
Next year, though, you're missing a Toy Story opportunity with your dog being named Andy.
It's true.
So you could be Woody,
right.
Then you have Buzz Lightyear.
I've been
Peep.
Buzz before, and Timber's been Jesse before, so I think it would just be a fight over what our 3-year-old wants.
That's true.
Yeah.
Don't they usually choose?
Probably Bluey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel like Bluey's in right now.
So she was Elsa until it was time to put on, till it was time. She was very upset.
You know, Frozen is still, I have a little cousin, she's 8, and, that was life for the first, 6 years.
Oh, I feel like it's still very relevant.
Yeah.
Even though it's been out for over 10 years now.
Yep.
It's a very relevant movie. So nobody's letting it go.
Right. Good one.
So we did start off, and I'm sure our listeners are like, what's going on? Get into it already.
Sure.
So we mentioned you're from California, and then you came to Montana. Can you just share with us a little bit about that? Different climates, lots of things.
Yeah. So I had an aunt that lived in Bozeman, and as I was looking at schools, she asked me to come check out MSU. And so I said, yeah, sure, I'll come check it out. And I was here for Easter, and it was their spring football game. So they were playing themselves.
Yeah.
And downtown was painted. People had their faces painted. That was big school pride. And just coming from California, I even worked and lived near a university, and they kind of didn't connect with the college kids in that way that I had seen before. And so I was very into it. I had a WUI scholarship, which basically was just Western exchange. So it was the same as in-state as long as I made a GPA. And
Did you make
that's
the
a
GPA?
prestigious
I did for
program.
one semester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But then I became an RA. So that was kind of the big thing at Bozeman was if you were an RA, you got housing and board for free. So did that and did it there for 2 years, and then got to make the move to Billings.
Right. But before we make the move to Billings,
Sure.
so you come to Bozeman, you're like, I love Bozeman. I'm here. I'm coming.
Right.
And then you're like, I'm going to be an RA.
Yep.
Can you talk to us a little bit about what that was like? What did you learn from being an RA? Because I see being an RA as intimidating because
Sure.
I'm like, you're in charge of all of these freshly graduated from high school students
Wild
that
children.
terrify me.
Right.
Yeah.
Not that I had a bad freshman college experience, but I felt like it wasn't what had been hyped up to me or what I had seen in movies or what
Yeah.
And so I had connected a lot with Residence Hall Association, which was kind of the entryway to becoming an RA. And I figured if, it's a little bit like taxes, right? You're giving this amount of money. I'd love to be in charge of what that money goes to and how it benefits the students, that sort of thing. So, I liked being an RA. I felt like I kind of came out of my shell that sophomore year, my first year as an RA, connected really well. It was great. I mean, I think helping, like, everyone going to college or that has been to college needs to know they pretty much have every resource you could ever think of. You just have to ask for it, or you have to find someone that knows where to go. Like, it doesn't matter if you need extra study help, if you need help at the library. Like, a lot of kids just won't ask. And so that's where I felt like I could do the best thing, is help guide people to the thing that they needed to be successful.
That's cool. So what was your degree? Did you decide kind of your pathway yet?
Yeah, I had a physics teacher in high school that, everyone kind of has that one teacher that did special stuff and made you think you wanted to be a teacher. And so I was
I had a teacher, but I didn't want to be a teacher.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like, we must have had different learning opportunities.
Sure. But it was always that physical part of, like, doing the math and you roll the ball down the hill and the ball lands where your math told you it would land. Like, I always thought that part was cool. So I was in for physics teaching, and I made it to halfway through through the end of my sophomore year. And I was in calculus 3 and, about to take quantum mechanics. And I thought, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to. I didn't take, yeah.
And at the time I had a coaching and a business minor, and I was thriving in those classes. So really, being successful, figuring it out, networking with people at the school. And so I switched my major and was just in business management.
Cool. So then you're transitioning.
What brought you here?
Yeah. So my boss at MSU, her name was Shadeen. She became the director of housing here at Rocky Mountain College. And I was just stopping in to have lunch with her, and she goes, "You can't leave. I have a job for you." And I said, "Oh, that's nice. I just started renting a house with my best friend, and we have a puppy, and I'm going to go into my senior year in Bozeman." And she said, "No, I have a job. It will do tuition remission. You have opportunity for a master's degree here at Rocky. What'll it take to get you over here?" So probably one of the bigger decision points in my life that I just bit the bullet. I didn't know anyone here in Billings, didn't have, anything going on. So
And you did that your senior year?
Yeah.
Wow. That is a big, you kind of are at a crossroads and you're like, okay, do I keep staying here, or do I make this big life change?
Right.
Wow. And you made it.
I made it. I chose to come here to Billings. So I worked at Rocky for 5 years, I believe. And so I got to see a class all the way through the system twice. So I had a good time at Rocky, and I was in charge of residence halls and met my wife and dog house later. Here we are in Billings.
Dog house and
baby.
Did you do masters?
I did. Yeah.
Program?
I got my master's in accounting.
Wow.
So.
Was that something, because you liked numbers, so you kind of picked that back up, maybe finished business, mm-hmm. and then added the accountancy?
Yep. So, and it helped that my wife was in those classes with me. So
that's why we're using a tax analogy
exactly.
earlier. I'm like, we're comparing RA to taxes. That's great.
Right.
I love it. Yeah, it's really fun. So you were at Rocky, but you kind of talked a little bit about getting to build those relationships and connections, which it seems like you kind of get to do that where you ended up now, where you are now, right?
Yeah. So when my wife and I graduated, we had funds because people gave us money for graduation, right? And one of the things we chose to spend that money on was an art house membership. And so Art House was still in its small screen. And it was we just knew we come twice a month, it pays for this membership kind of thing. And so we really enjoyed it. And the city owns the Babcock, the theater, and they picked Art House to manage that space. And we went into the first movie there, and I was like, this is what I want. I want to be a part of this. I'm going to start volunteering. This is the jam. It's 700 seats. It looks like the Muppet Theater when you go in there. And so I was really passionate about just even helping where I could. So
you just started volunteering? I
started volunteering. So I was still working at Rocky and volunteering there, helping out with shifts. And the manager let me know. He said, you're doing pretty well at this. we have an opening to fill in 5 to 10 hours. I know you're not looking for a job, but it would help us out, and we feel like you could do it. And I said, oh, okay. And so I started working a Sunday shift, and it was going well. And the event coordinator position came open, and I thought, that'd be fun. I could make the jump for that, and I didn't get it. And so at the time,
and you're still working at Rocky, but like as an RA, you're coordinating tons of stuff, tons of people all the time.
Right.
Like that's just like normal day for you. You're
right.
like, yep, coordinating this.
This
and
kid's
that.
in trouble for alcohol.
Yeah.
This person needs help. This person's having roommate issues. My RA staff is, doing 42 things today, and we've got a party tomorrow. And
so you're used to the like chaos.
Right.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So you were like, oh gosh, I didn't get this job.
Right.
Which was probably hurt a little bit.
It did. I knew it didn't affect me at Art House or Art House with me. It just meant that they found someone that fits a little bit better. And then about 4 or 5 months later, the operations manager position came open. And so I applied for that one. And the executive director, Matt, was like, yep, this was like, you were meant for this one kind of thing. So I re-interviewed and got the position. I took over managing both the Art House and the Babcock in January of 2020.
Wow. So a month before
shutdown.
So
we laugh, but wow.
Because,
like and then you're transitioning from like industry, really, because you were in education. Now you're in arts and culture.
Right. Nonprofit world.
Right.
Not that Rocky is a nonprofit, but
it's different.
Right.
Yeah.
And so 2 months in, we went into lockdown. So, it's been, ever since then, everything's been new for everybody, not just me. And so we were really lucky. We had a lot of very generous donors and people that wanted to see us survive. And that was never kind of a question that came on the table. So I got really, really lucky, really blessed that Art House the whole time kept us paid, kept us doing things. And it was really interesting because Governor Bullock at the time, the first wave of, churches can open and gyms can open, they're going to be at 25%. And then he goes, oh, and movie theaters. And we kind of had our hand, elbow deep in the project cookie jar. We were painting and cleaning and, just taking our time with stuff because we didn't know how long this was going to last.
Doing those projects that just sort of pile up when you own a facility.
Sure.
Yeah, we get it.
And so no one else in the country had opened their movie theater back up yet. So at the time, I'm reading current reports. I'm checking in on, we were spraying every seat, wiping every surface. People couldn't touch the doors. Like we propped doors for people. So it kept everybody 6 feet apart. And the Babcock really lent itself to COVID because we could distance people. So even if you were 6 foot distanced from someone else, we can still fit 100 people that way, let alone families are going to group together, that sort of thing. But a crazy part is our industry wasn't doing well. So they weren't giving us new movies to show. What are we supposed to show people? So we dipped into that treasure trove of classic movies and then started having amazing success at the Babcock with classic movies.
You can call it the vault. It's okay.
Yeah.
We'll let you use it.
Right. I don't know if Mickey will, so.
Yeah. So you started tapping
in
to these movies, and the community, right, probably just showed up because they wanted to get out and do something because we had been shut in. We're like, you can't come out, you can't do all these things, which looking back, it's crazy of like wiping groceries and then you're probably, as an operations, you're making all these plans and reading this stuff and you're like, maybe I'm wrong, but like I'd be like, I don't even know what I'm doing, but I'm like making these policies that I'm like, wow,
implement and put in policy. And, as we learn more that it's through air, it's not through surfaces, we kind of changed our tactics and keeping people separate. One of the things is I had a regular call with a Riverstone Health agent here in town. And I'm talking like every day, check in. Hey, how many tickets can we sell for the show this week? And he can go, it's orange. You can keep people distanced. Like, let's do 100. All right, that's great. And we got to a point that first October where they reduced all indoor activity to 25 people max. So even the Babcock, that's this massive space.
It's like 700 seats, right?
Yep, 700 seats. We could only sell 25 tickets. And it was kind of crazy. And it was hard to tell people, like it was hard to explain that to people of, yep, this is the rule. We're following the rule to the T. So sorry. We had a lot of people that tried to be supportive and buy those tickets and then wouldn't come. Like they were trying to like help us sell out. But it was like, no, I have people that want to watch. It was Ghostbusters. Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's a great one.
Right. So yeah.
Gosh. So I'm curious, it'll take us back a little bit, but you're working in a theater, you're passionate about it. Like you guys use your college stuff, your funds from graduation, not to go on a trip, not to buy an art house membership. So where did some of that passion for film and passion for movies come from for you?
Sure. I think film is one of those art mediums that can hit you, you could be nostalgic for it. It could be a newfound thing. It could hit your life at the perfect moment. Like you might rewatch something later and go, why did I think this was good? And it's like, oh, because of when I watched it. Like it made more sense to laugh at Anchorman jokes when you're a middle schooler than it does now a little bit.
I still watch movies I liked in middle school. And laugh
I
at
do
them.
too. I do too.
Me three. Yeah.
Some haven't aged as well as others.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
Yeah. But then sometimes it makes them better.
Yeah. So I would say I've been passionate. I have my best friend from high school. He's in the industry, and so he and I, even growing up, would go to movies together that maybe people our age weren't going to, or wasn't the main attraction kind of thing. And so, art houses brought that here to Billings. It's the small indie pieces, it's the foreign films, it's the documentaries that aren't getting the screen time at AMC. Mm-hmm. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my Avengers movies, but
right, but they're like
different.
Yeah.
Marcel and I went and watched a documentary there once.
At the Babcock.
Yes.
It was Yellowstone, about the river that local people, or it was at the Mint Film Festival.
Yeah, it was Mint Film Festival, and it was about Yellowstone
And
River.
I'll never forget. So they're just talking about, the whole river, where it starts and how it goes through Montana, and how much it impacts all of our lives, whether we're human or animals. So like you see these otters, and Kayla was so sweet, but like as the bison cross it, like they got footage of some like getting ripped away.
Washed away.
And Kayla's making these loud noises as we're in this movie.
I'm one of those people, but I also, then the little coyote with the duck, and it just broke my heart.
Yeah.
And I was a little devastated. And I'm a talker in the movies, so I apologize to all the people that are judging me right now. But Marcel's like trying to like keep it together, and I'm like, what?
Do you think the duck
Mother
comes
Nature.
back? The duck does
Do you
not
think
come
he
back,
made it?
Kayla.
But we've done other fun ones, or I have too, of like where you guys collaborate with like local businesses, like something chic, and she has like a girls movie night.
The Devil Wears Prada
was so fun.
That was great. And she did the House of Gucci showing.
Yep.
That was that was a different movie too. It was good.
Yep.
Different though. Like more of the
Art house style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us some things like more. So from the difference of you guys manage the Babcock and you have the art house.
Yep.
Are there strategies that you guys have that you use to show different types of films for each?
Sure. Yeah. Again, I think COVID really pivoted. So prior to COVID, art house was our cash cow. We had a really strong group of regulars, really strong group of members that, wanted to come see whatever thing we were putting on the screen. I've got a group of girls that come Wednesday nights, and I know that I'm going to sell 12 tickets Wednesday night kind of thing.
Yeah.
Babcock, we were trying to do new movies. So we were trying to compete with AMC. We were doing, Avengers and Star Wars and Creed, or, the Lego movie, like things that we were trying to be a new cinema. Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, but.
I think that when COVID happened, it really flip-flopped. We could only fit, 12 people distancing in art house. And Babcock, we could sometimes seat up to 200. And so it really changed our mindset. And the classic films were working so well of like, this is what we need to do. We need to, like, if we have to show Goonies every summer to 500 people, like we'd be silly to not show Goonies every summer to 500 people.
I love the Goonies. I love it so much.
So
it's one of my favorites.
New movies come with a lot of stipulations. So, for instance, we're going to do Killers of the Flower Moon here soon.
Yeah.
I do want to watch that. Yeah.
It looks really good.
And we have to play it every day. And sometimes they're making us play it twice a day kind of thing. So that's not as successful at the Babcock where, you've got 700 seats and, maybe people don't come on a Tuesday, that kind of thing. Versus I can put Goonies on a Friday night or Hocus Pocus on a Saturday night. You can kind of mix it up with those older films that the whole week is a set of bangers, essentially, that it's going to bring people out for.
And I will just say, bringing back classics, for me, some of these movies that I absolutely love, I grew up, my dad showed them to me. I didn't get to see them in theaters. And so how cool is it to be able to go get your popcorn and then, because you're the Babcock Art House, I'll get my little wine and I can go sit down and watch a movie that I've loved my whole entire life on the big screen.
Right.
So cool.
Yeah, it's definitely what gets me is dads or parents that bring their kids to something they love to see it for the first time.
That's special.
Yeah, it's real special.
That's really fun. And I think too, you guys, you're doing that, but you're also a very community-minded organization. We've had multiple events with you guys, and you're always amazing when we're like, can we do this random, street party and rent your space? And you guys have just been so great to partner with.
Photo shoot. Impromptu photo shoot.
Yeah, that's very true.
You're great. It's really fun.
Well, and then you host great things like the Mint Film Festival.
Yeah,
which just happened here.
Billings.
Yep. TEDx Billings. I've got Grant Ferguson doing a concert tomorrow night, so they're in there doing sound check.
Oh wow!
Yeah, the Babcock, it really lends itself. You can do anything you want in there pretty much. So within means.
Yeah.
But
so tell us a little bit since so you start. It's COVID now. It's a couple of years later. What are some big things that you've learned along the way as the director of operations? For the art house in Babcock?
I would say there are things that we kind of hold, we hold these truths to be self-evident kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Billings people always show up when they think the movie is going to start. So, that if it's a 7:00 start time, everyone and their cousin comes at 6:55 and goes, why is there a line? Well, 10 minutes ago, there was not a line.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So if you get there early, you get better seats.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And you get your popcorn and you're settled.
Yeah. And even if you call us and ask, hey, is this going to be pretty well attended? We can give you the 411 of, yep, it's going to be, you're going to want to come 20 minutes early kind of thing. Other things we've learned is sometimes we can do as much marketing or pushing or something that we think is amazing. We'll have something that has, let's say 500 likes on it. And we're like, all right, we're going to have staff and we're going to have stock. And it's that they really like Forrest Gump. They don't want to come watch Forrest Gump at the theater. They can watch it on AMC on repeat, all day. So it's that people are trying to support us, but we don't necessarily know what turnout's going to be.
Yeah.
And then we have other things, it's kind of dependent on the movie we're playing. So if we're playing a new film, for instance, Everything Everywhere All at Once last year, massive movie. We had to hold it for 4 weeks because we just kept having show after show doing so well, and people were coming back and bringing friends, and so going into it, we're like, no, yeah, it looks kind of crazy. It looks great. We'll see how it does.
Look, I haven't watched it yet, but it does look like a crazy film.
Yeah.
But it won a whole bunch of awards.
It did. It won a lot of Oscars.
And don't you guys host an Oscars party too?
We do host
Speaking
an Oscar party. Yeah. So we have, for our members and particularly our VIP members, we do an Oscars party on the Oscars, and we do an Oscar pick'em. So you get to, it has the nominees for each category, and whoever wins, gets the most right at the end of the night, gets to play a movie at the Babcock the next year.
That's cool.
And so the Kylanders won this year, and they're doing The Art of Racing in the Rain, which is a very sad dog movie.
Oh, yeah, I won't.
Yeah.
No, it hurts my heart.
Marley and Me up here, and Art of Racing in the Rain right under it.
Right
yeah.
Under it. I can't.
Gosh, just broke my heart.
He's doing it in honor because their dog passed last year, and it's an honor. Yeah.
God, so everyone's going to be sobbing in this theater.
Just hysterically crying, yeah.
Animal deaths.
And
get me.
And if that one isn't going to work, then on Wednesday is my birthday movie. And
what's your birthday movie?
Goofy movie.
Ooh,
I did see that.
Yeah. So,
okay, I love the Goofy movie.
Me too.
I feel
It is
like
good.
that was such an underrated film, and it is hysterical.
Austin's obsessed too.
Yeah, and
he loves
it I think it means something to you, and then it means something completely different. Like once you're a parent, it hits on a different level.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's sweet. So what's going? We know there's lots of big things happening at Art House, and by the
Huge
time this
things.
airs,
Who knows?
it'll be like, yeah.
So,
Talk to us about it.
yep. So we were in a capital campaign for 7 years to raise funds for what we were calling Phase 2, essentially turning the old art house space into a pub area and putting 3 screens. It used to be center lanes, bowling lanes in downtown Billings, and putting 3 screens back there. We have completed our project. We officially passed our certificate of occupancy.
Woohoo.
Yep.
That's awesome.
We did some VIP sneak events already. Our chef is Jason Corbridge.
And you guys have like a new stunning sign.
It's new marquee that
Yeah.
got put in. The tourism. We had a tourism grant that helped with that a lot. Yeah, we being a nonprofit, we really just have this interesting avenue that, I mean, it's hard. It's hard for me because we look at some of these other organizations and how much money they get and that sort of thing. And at the end of the day, I'm running a movie theater, so I can't be too judgmental about who gets money and who doesn't. But we are so lucky because then we can apply for grants and things that help enrich people's lives just with the art we're providing to Billings.
That's so exciting. So now once Phase 2's launched.
So you went from 1 theater to 3 in the art house?
Yep, in the art house. So we're gonna have 4 screens total that we have to program. We'll do events still. We'll
Awesome.
So it's gonna be the whole gambit. Our big screen over at Art House is 100 seats. The screen pushes back and makes a stage, so
Wow.
we could do small band stuff in there. Parker Brown, Eric Olson. Those people are really excited to have a show in there.
Yeah.
And
Have a whole new space.
yeah. And really, we've kind of helped ourselves because we've got a small theater. If you've got 30-ish people and you want to come watch a birthday movie, let's do it. We've got like a 60-seat theater, maybe your group's in the 100-seat, and then all the way up to 700. So really depending on if someone comes in with an act or someone comes in with a film and they don't know how well we can kind of vary our range of, let's put it here kind of thing.
Oh, I love that. Because I know sometimes you do, like last year you did Charlie Brown and you
Yeah.
had the music.
Yep. It's, one of our favorite events, and every year we just keep pushing the envelope and pushing sold out shows. So,
And what a fun experience. We did like a live music one of Star Wars in Seattle once, and I'm like, but you can get that here in Billings, Montana, in downtown Billings, in
Yep.
a more intimate setting, which
Yep.
is even more fun, I think. And with a classic movie, I mean, Star Wars is classic too.
Yep.
So that was like really a ton of fun. But
I love when you play Star Wars movies because
Yeah.
everyone's dressed up.
Yep.
Like you just know that it's happening because you're walking the streets of downtown Billings and there's Darth Vader
yeah.
and there's Chewie and you're just like,
Yoda.
this is so crazy.
Yeah. We, one of the biggest ones for us every year is Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, yeah.
So, that one, people come out of the woodwork very dressed up. And we clean glitter. I'm going to clean glitter for about 6 months.
like
and
probably
then
for like a year.
and then until next year, and when it happens again.
More glitter.
More glitter.
Yeah.
More
Yep.
glitter just everywhere.
Yep. But between that and then we did the Hocus Pocus the weekend after, we were dressed up for
Busy and
a lot
who
of
doesn't
October.
love dressing up?
Right.
Yeah.
I'll have to show you ladies pictures, but we did. I bought me and the 2 boys that work behind the concessions counter. We were the Sanderson sisters.
Oh, my God. I
I,
love it. You
full
should have told me
costume.
I could have dressed up too.
Yeah.
I need photos.
Yep.
That'll be airing on this
Okay.
social media when this episode comes out.
Okay, which one were you?
I was Winifred,
Oh, I love.
and I had like fake teeth and
I love
everything.
You have
it.
to.
I did. Yeah.
That's great.
really good.
I have Sarah's costume.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Big fan.
So-
Huge fan of Hocus Pocus. I had a Hocus Pocus party.
Nice.
It was great for the second movie showing. So,
Fans. We're all big. I've watched it a couple of times this year,
Yeah.
I must say. Yeah. So you get to do a lot of things. So what are some of the fun, what are some of the favorite parts of your job that you have?
I think it's that having someone show their family their favorite film gets me every time. But I've done weddings, I've done funerals, I've done
wow.
bands, we've done, Day of the Dead, on Mondays, sometimes the court will ask if they can do jury selection out of there. So during COVID, we were one of the only spaces that they could spread the jury selection out and get the 12 jurors they needed for a case. And so I would have to come in early and set a like mock courtroom on the stage. And those are the times that I think, what is my job? Like really,
other
what is
duties
my job?
as assigned.
Yeah.
It's my favorite line in the job description.
And so just the range of stuff, and making it special for everybody. So we've got some local filmmakers that had their premiere with us, and treating it like it's their wedding day, or treating it, is kind of where my brain goes of like, what can we make this the best memory possible for you?
That's so awesome.
Thank you.
That is, just the wide range, because you probably, originally were just like, all right, I love film. I'm going to do this. And then you were like, this is way more than film.
Right.
If you have to, if you're doing funerals, that is a whole different like level of energy you have to bring that day, you know? So gosh, I give you huge kudos, because that is up and down.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. Some of the stuff that we've, gotten to do and continue to do, and who wants to, comedians have been having really good success with our space here in Billings. They kind of outgrow places like the Red Door or, and aren't, Gabriel Iglesias level that they need the Metra yet. And so we've kind of hit a sweet spot with some comedians lately too.
And just different audiences coming in for different things. And they have the Big Sky Comedy Fest that just happened. And then having like those venues of other sizes too, I think is just great for Billings and downtown Billings. Such a great value add. You
mentioned before that you got to pick a movie for your birthday.
I did, yeah.
Can you talk about like the benefits that the employees get at Babcock?
Yeah,
and our house?
Being a nonprofit, our pay isn't the greatest, but I think that people we have working love what we're doing. And, it's passionate about sharing it with others kind of thing. One of the perks is when it's your birthday, as long as the film rights are available for us to get, we let you do a free birthday pick. So it doesn't have to fit in any of our programming tracks, versus a lot of the time we kind of wait for, a significant anniversary. For instance, we just did Pirates of the Caribbean for their 20th year anniversary.
It's been 20 years.
Right.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I loved those movies. Wow.
And so a lot of times we wait, right? Someone's like, you should really play this. It's like, yeah, but next year it turns 40. Let's wait and do 40th anniversary of. But the birthday movie is a free pick. So you get to put it. And there is a staff competition of whose birthday movie sells the most tickets.
Oh, wow. I love that.
Yeah.
Just a little fun.
It is. It needs to be a
competition.
traveling trophy for us. Yeah.
I think you should get one.
Yeah.
Joy of Living has trophies right now.
Yeah.
Go by, pop one down, get it ready.
So that's one of the benefits. Our employees, if there's nothing going on in the theater, sometimes they'll come and watch a movie together. So it really just depends. But yeah, I would say that that's kind of the benefits is, food and drink and watching movies and sharing movies with others.
Yeah. Well, on that, you mentioned you're doing the Goofy movie.
I am.
But what's your favorite movie?
Oh, I think you would have to give me genre maybe, but I could do top 3, but it changes if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
okay, top 3.
Singing in the Rain.
Love it.
And
I won't sing for you right now, but I do sing from that movie.
Okay, yeah.
Not good,
when it's
but I do.
raining.
Yeah. I would say Raiders of the Lost Ark. So the Indiana Jones.
Good one.
Yeah.
It's a satchel.
Right. And I don't know. I think the last one would probably have to be some sort of comedy to counteract like Young Frankenstein is up there.
That one's good.
Yeah,
that one's
Airplane.
so good.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like the comedy it continues. It's like timeless.
Right.
Well, I remember going to that with a couple of my cousins. We went to it at the Billings Studio Theater, and it was live.
Yeah.
And I get us tickets. We go. I have one from a cousin that comes in from out of town, one that lives here, and they'd never seen the movie.
Right. So the jokes aren't landing. Like, what is this?
No, they were, but they're like, oh my, because they didn't think that this Young Frankenstein movie that we're watching the live action was had all these funny things in it, and they're laughing, but they're like, what did you bring us to? But they loved it. It just wasn't what they expected. So it's a great classic, I think.
I actually did go see it at the art house. And I just loved it because the art house is amazing because it's just like that quaint feeling, but everyone was like laughing together.
That's the crazy part about watching movies together, which is really something, during COVID, a lot of the headlines were streaming's going to take over and no one's going to watch movies in the theater anymore. And that's not the case. I think there's something about like laughing together with like strangers, or even the other one that was really remarkable for me to find out was like horror films. Like,
getting scared together?
Yes, there's something about like suspense in a room versus at home. You're going to click pause, or you're going to turn your lights up, or you're going to, you know what I mean? You're going to make, you can't avoid the atmosphere.
Where I curl under a blanket.
You're right. So, but I think that there is something to comedies and horror films that it's like, no, together, this is pretty special.
And I think it's like you were talking about when you watch families bring their kids in for the first time to watch something. There's something magical about the experience of a movie theater, of where you're coming, you're getting popcorn, you're getting maybe some candy to toss in like M&Ms or whatever your poison is for addition to popcorn. And it's like a fun experience. Yeah. And it's memorable. Like you're making memories while you're watching these.
Yeah, it was cool because we did Return of the Jedi this year. We did all 3 Star Wars. But the reason is Return of the Jedi, and it had shown on the Babcock screen opening day 40 years before.
Oh, wow.
So we had pictures of the marquee and a picture of the line all the way around the block from 40 years ago, and took a modern picture of the marquee the same way with people lined up around the block. It was really cool.
That's really special.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, that's so cool that it's historic, so you have that stuff to build on. That's awesome.
So I'm curious, where, like with your job, where are you finding out about new things, like newer trends? How do you guys keep up on, obviously new movies is just probably something you're in all the time, but what are you listening to? Where are you finding inspirations? Because you guys are growing and doing these really great things.
Yeah, I think that a lot of it is even just growing our connections here in Billings. So there's a lot of Billings that doesn't know we exist. Like, you would not believe how many people come to the Babcock and they're like, this is my first time. It's like, this building was built in 1907 and you've lived here for 40 years.
It's
like
older than you.
Yeah. And so I think that spreading our base here in Billings, showing people that we're, if we're having a movie that's playing out at Shiloh, let's say, like, we do it better. You can get beer and a better time here.
And your customer service is really great.
Thanks.
Yeah. It is. No, I mean, like, you're getting like amazing popcorn. Your staff is attentive.
Real butter.
Right.
Like, I think those are things that.
So I think as long as we keep showing people that difference exists and growing our base here in Billings, I mean, the things are kind of limitless. We're part of some smaller groups. So Art House Convergence, where other small art houses like us meet. We have, a chat, a forum page of like, hey, this documentary is really stirring, these types of conversations. Be ready to talk about X, Y, or Z kind of thing. And so.
Oh, wow. That's really so cool that you guys have that support system.
Yeah. And so I think that was kind of, Matt Blakesley, our executive director, that was always his dream with this phase 2 project, is this pub and lobby. Because before Art House, a movie got over, it was like, get on out of here because I got a movie in 20 minutes and we're going to do the same thing. Yeah, as people are talking, they're moved by what they saw, whether it's a documentary or a drama piece or, something that just hit them the right way. Or they want to talk about it. Like, you leave it and you're like, that was confusing as hell. And their friend is like, no, it wasn't. Here's the answer. Like, kind of thing.
Right. I would be the confused.
Right.
Yeah.
Not Kayla. She talks the whole time.
I'd be I am the confused of the situation.
And that person that's asking you, why did he do that? And you're like, I'm watching it for the first time too.
Yeah. I do that to my wife all the time. Like, what's going on? It's like, I don't know.
My dad does that all the time, and I think my mom's like, I don't know. Like, I'm watching it now. I've never seen it either.
Yes.
I just am inquisitive.
Yeah.
But now they get to have that space.
Now
where
they have that space.
Out,
yeah.
Chat.
Yep.
It provides, I feel like, well, I don't know, but I'm guessing one of the experiences that will be had is you'll have people coming in for their show.
Right.
As some are leaving, and like the curiosity and the excitement just like grows within that space.
Right. And so I think that's an area that we'll grow into, is people will hang out. There'll be more conversation around what you saw on the screen.
How exciting. I can't wait to see it. And I think it's such a great thing. Do you talk to us a little bit, because you were up at Rocky Education Campus. It's just different. But talk to us about from your perspective, what it's like working downtown.
I enjoy working downtown. I can, it's a very strong network of people that are working together. There's movers and shakers. There's buildings that it's like, okay, what's new in this building this week kind of thing. And, I think that difference is tight-knit. We've got the downtown cops. We've got, you got to pay the parking meter if you're not parking in the right spot. I think there's a lot of things to figure out, to fix, but we're in it together. We're all trying to make it a safer, better place that people want to come down. They want to, I want people to go have dinner at Brew Pub and come to the Babcock. I want people to go get ice cream at Big Dipper after the movie. Like, I want Big Dipper to make one of their flavors Hocus Pocus themed because they know we're doing, you know what I mean? The more collaborative we get, I don't think it's competition. I think it's great to have people just even brought down for something.
I love that, like the collaborative, like do specials and things like that. So tell us like a night out with Jake. Like, what would be your like top suggestion? So if you're either new or you live here, tell us a night out.
Sure. It used to be really easy, and I would say like Fieldhouse is the way to go. Rip Fieldhouse. I have had great experiences. Walkers would probably be where I would tell you to go. Depending if you are into the brewery scene, I might do some of the brew trail spots and have you wander on over to the theater. You're going to get a lot of those same local beers provided at our theaters. So if you found one that you liked on that trail, or and then come hang out and watch a great movie and get some ice cream at Big Dipper after, maybe keep the night going. There's a lot of bars downtown that have stuff. I am a pinball junkie, so
that's so Monty.
The Monty.
Yeah. So
fun.
I like going over to the Monty and spending my quarters, and
that's great. So tell us what ice cream, what are you getting at Big Dipper?
I am a sucker for a special. So at restaurants too, I'm always like, what's the special? And then again, to bring up Fieldhouse, there was like randomly I picked it, and it was like a fish breakfast sandwich, and I was like, that's kind of a weird thing, but I'm gonna do it. And I have dreams about that sandwich.
It made it such an impression on you,
right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm that way with specials. So usually at Big Dipper, they've got something peanut buttery going on in their specials that I'll try out. I also, they'll put it on their board at like a vegan sorbet of whatever it is, and those are really good too. So it was like lavender lemon and some of those flavors that are out there.
I found, so normally I love their matcha. Mm-hmm. I love the caramel cookie waffle when they do that because I love those cookies. Yep. But we were down for a team thing this summer, and we had an intern, and I'm like, what are you getting, Hank? And he's like, I'm going to do the like lemon sorbet. And I was like, I've never had that. I'll get it. And it was amazing. Because normally I'm like an ice cream girl, right. And I love a sorbet. But when I'm going out, I'm like, I'm getting the ice cream or I'm getting the gelato. Like I want the that kind of flavor. But the lemon sorbet was amazing.
Yeah.
Their sorbet is nice. Very refreshing.
Yeah, it was really good. I love that. I love hearing where like locals like to eat and drink. Are you a beer person then?
I do like beer. Yeah. I do enjoy beer. We did we've got a podcast, and we did a whole episode on like beers around town.
You'll have to send it so we can share it.
Okay.
Plug your podcast. What's your name?
Art House Rewind.
There we go.
Yep. And we have been so busy with construction and getting to the finish line that we've missed a little bit, and so we're gonna fire it back up here now that we've got some time on our hands again.
And are you a host?
I am. Yeah.
Do you like it?
I do like it. I was actually really surprised. We did some VIP events last week, and I had someone run up to me and introduce themselves, and I was like, okay, like, nice to meet you. And he goes, I found you by your voice. And I was like, what do you mean? Like my eyes got really wide. And he goes, I had a friend show me the podcast and like got into what Art House was doing. He's like, I've never met you. You haven't, just whatever coincidences. He's never been in the theater when I've been in the theater.
Yeah.
But he felt the need to come let me know. Like, I really like all your opinions and stuff that you have on the podcast.
That's so great.
That's awesome.
If you're a celebrity.
It was a weird feeling. It was a weird.
Where they know you through something and you're like, I guess we
he
broadcast this out in the world.
Never seen me before, ever.
I found you through your voice is a weird thing to say.
Right.
That's like a commercial.
You made an
Right.
impact.
You know,
Yeah,
like when you hear a
sure.
commercial, you're like,
any of the people around town, like
you're
Willie
like, I know their
Tyler
voice.
and Big J and
yeah.
and McLovin
You always
even.
know. Yeah. When they have something going on. Mm-hmm.
Look, you're famous.
Right.
We did have Justin on too.
We did.
A while ago.
Yeah.
He was really fun. He's doing really big, great things.
Yeah, he's a big supporter of us. He came to those VIP nights and posted about it. It was good.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
Yes, he's awesome. Well, we want to say thank you for being here today. But as you know, we end every
fire.
with
ready.
our rapid fire. So before we jump into that, we are going to hear a word from our sponsor.
Thank you to Big Sky Economic Development for supporting The Vault at 201 North Broadway. Big Sky Economic Development provides leadership and resources for business creation, expansion, retention, new business recruitment, and community development.
All right. Are you ready for some rapid fire questions?
I am.
Perfect. I already asked you what your favorite movie was.
Right.
So I won't do that. Your favorite 3, I guess.
Yeah.
But what is your favorite go-to coffee order?
Ooh, I am like a straight Americano black type of guy. No room. Like that's what I want.
Cold?
Hot.
Okay.
Yeah. I am though. Like I do like a macchiato, like a traditional macchiato.
Okay.
When we went on a trip to Italy, and it was like, yep, that's why this is a thing. I get it now.
You get European coffee. It's so different.
Yep.
And I crave it.
Yep.
Because even I'm an Americano. I love Americanos, but like it's just different when you get like a cappuccino or
Right.
something, and it's never in paper. It's always in glass. You sit, enjoy.
Yep.
I love that. Okay, so I have another. And I'm excited to hear this one. So what gets you going in the morning, and like how do you start your day?
Yeah, so I'm a big on routine. If I'm out of my routine, like you can tell something's out of whack.
Okay.
And so I am the early morning gym weirdo. You're like, how
No,
do you
I
do
relate
that?
to you.
Yeah. And
But you have a kid. I don't, so it's different.
it is. But she's sleeping when that happens. So it's like, yeah, I think that it helps put me on the right foot for that day. Even as I'm telling myself, like, just go back to sleep, we're fine. Or, you're going to have a late night working whatever show is at the Babcock. Like, it really sets my day in the right foot. And I just take off from there.
Awesome. All right. Last one we'll ask you. What's one piece of advice you'd give to college students that are listening?
Yeah, I kind of already touched on it, but all of the resources for you exist. And on top of that, you're paying for them to exist. So go take advantage of them. When we were at Rocky and a lot of other schools have outdoor rec programs, you're already paying for what they're providing. Like he's taking kids up to Red Lodge, buying you lunch, getting your lift ticket. All you got to do is show up with some skis ready to meet people, And so I think take advantage of the things that are quote unquote free. And even if it's like, well, I'd rather be in my room or that kind of no, get out, take advantage. You're already paying for those things. And you never know who you'll meet, what you'll get to do, or the memories you'll have later because of those.
I really love that. And I think, would you say if you don't even know where to start, just go ask your RA?
Ask your RA because they've been trained on those resources. Or if they don't know, they will find you the right person to talk to.
Cool.
Awesome. Where can everyone find Art House and Babcock on social?
Yeah, so arthousebillings.com. We just redid our website. It's going to be more consistent with show times and looking like a modern age website. And so now that we've got shows that are going to start to happen at both, it'll make a lot more sense than it did when we were just Babcock. And then social-wise, it's Art House Billings, and we primarily push out through that one. The Babcock does exist, but it's more of a secondary thing that shares the first accounts stuff.
Perfect.
And can we do a giveaway?
Sure.
Can we do like some popcorn and a couple tickets?
Let's do that. Date night package.
Date night
Ooh,
package.
I love that.
So go to the Vault's Instagram, check out our latest post, and tell us what was your favorite part of this episode to be entered to win a date night package from Art House. Thanks, Jake.
Yeah. And then, so question for you ladies, if you had a birthday movie pick, what would you pick to show Billings? So the idea is that it could be something personal, or it could be something that's your favorite, but it's something that you're like, no, other people should see this on a big screen. It kind of matters.
Oh my gosh.
Do you want me to go?
Yes.
I think I'm ready to go. So I think one of my favorites would be like between two. So I think it'd either be Charade or Breakfast at Tiffany's with Audrey Hepburn.
Mm-hmm.
Classics. I love those movies. I love old movies like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mine would be completely different. I feel like, I don't know, The Fifth Element.
Sure.
Would be a great one.
Yeah.
But also one that just comes to mind, it's like out of my norm, but I just think it's such a great movie, A Time to Kill.
Yeah.
So those would be two
that you
I
would put
say.
on the screen.
Yeah. But I would say Fifth Element, it's just great.
It's a good movie.
It's Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
And you gotta love it. And it's just a funny sci-fi.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you, Jake. It's been so much fun having you on this episode.
It's always
thank you,
so
ladies.
much fun.
Yeah. I
Thanks
was
for being
excited
our
to be
biggest
here.
fan.
Yeah. No worries.
Top fan.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining. You can find the resources and tools mentioned in today's episode at thevault201.com. If you like this episode, be sure to subscribe and share with a friend.
Thank you to the Small Business Development Center for sponsoring The Vault at 201 North Broadway. The Small Business Development Center provides you with free one-on-one counseling, business plan assistance, marketing research, financial projection assistance, and more to small businesses.